Hello, everyone. Sorry I am a little late. I was working. Usually I get off work at 4, and there was extra things happening today, so I could not do that. And decided, well, my computer is already plugged in here. I might as well get the light and bring it over here. So I hope everybody's doing okay, doing well, doing good, doing great. Um, I know some stuff happened over the weekend, and I want to keep everything here non-political. So I hope we can continue to do that. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, let's go up to the top. Hello and hello and hello, hi. Um, and so also keep things family friendly. I knew I was missing something. Thank you. All right. Verna was like number 3. Probably Dawn was first. I don't know. Hi, Verna. Welcome, welcome. Verna is Vay's Place with a little wrench in blue. She's moderator on the channel, and she is awesome. If you would like to know more about growing things in a small scale capacity in an apartment setting, check out her channel. She does lives on Saturday mornings, and she has videos too. All right, welcome. Erica's here. Welcome, Erica. Welcome, welcome. And Joy is here. Sorry, I'm just putting up my hair here. It's a little warm. It's not as warm as it has been. Jeez. Done with the 104s, hopefully. All right. And yes, so Joy is from Western Oregon. Hello, hello. 87 here right now. Feels hotter. Oh, Joy. I don't know what it is here. It got to 80 something. It's been in the 80s the past few days, which has been amazing. Because it's definitely amazing compared to 106, 108, whatever. Yeah. I'm okay with the 80s. Buster's here. Hey to all. Buster says, good evening. Oh, Verna says 78 here with a feel like of 84. It's funny. In the Midwest, they often have the feels like temperature, and I think it's because of the humidity. You don't get that a whole lot here unless it's colder. Usually, it's not for the hotter temperatures; it's for the colder temperatures. So that's interesting. All right. Yeah. All right. So looks like we have some people here. I know I said on the live, not the live, on the weekend review that I'm going to talk to you guys about food forests today. So if we don't have any topics of discussion before that, go ahead and talk about that. But that is our topic today. I figured it was good to fit it in with the videos from this past week. So yeah, Serena's here. Hi, Serena. Welcome. Oh, you're okay. Yeah. Um. Anyway, Serena, I was just saying that we're just not talking politics on this channel. Safe place for everyone to learn about raising food and being self-sufficient. Yeah. Oh, Verna, I hope you find a good place. Um, I hope you find a good place that will allow you to do that. Yeah, that is my hope. All right. So, questions? Oh, we have a joke. What do you call a stick vegetable? Horseradish. I have been really the only vegetable I've been harvesting out of the yard recently has been the cucumber, which I know is a fruit, but that really has been the only thing harvested, and it's really prolific. There's one variety. I planted 2 varieties. There's one that's more typical, and then there's one that's smaller, and the smaller one is just taking off. So I've been enjoying those. I need to remember how many I have in the refrigerator because I have more in the refrigerator than I think I do. Yeah. My vegetable's always worn out. Beet. I got some juice at the store the other day. This is the immunity. I don't pineapple, kale, and ginger. It's good. It doesn't have too much kale in it. It's green. I'm not drinking for immunity. I'm just drinking for the taste. I like ginger. I like pineapple. I thought I'd try it. So yeah, there you go. Yep. Buster says, Verna, I'm wishing you the best. Absolutely, absolutely. TM, do you have any plans for your apples? I do. I do. I will be making applesauce, and you guys will see that. So, I picked a big basket of apples the other day. I'm gonna have a video on apples, and then after that will be the applesauce. So yeah, apples, apples, apples. My Anna apple tree always does really, really well. And I get, like 1 to 2 baskets out of her every time. So um, it's about right. There's about 15 or 20 left on the tree, I think. So yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, so I have those, and then the last peach tree should be peaching. It should be ripening here soon. And when that happens, I was going to freeze dry some puree like I did last year. However, the heating element on my freeze dryer is bad. So I need to call the tech out, it sounds like, and maybe get a new heating element. I don't know. So that really sucks because I was in the throes of doing a whole bunch of freeze drying. Luckily, the batch it stopped on was stuff I already had in the freezer. So like store bought, corn and peas and stuff like that. I was just trying to make more freezer space, and so at least it wasn't something homegrown. And it's still there. It smells like it's a little cooked, which is weird because the heat is not working. So I wonder if it went higher and then went out. I don't know. So yeah, it's that's where I am. Customer service was really quick to respond. It happened on a weekday though, so I don't think they have. I'm not sure that they have weekend responses, but they're really quick to respond. Had me test something, had me reset something, and it didn't work. And so that's when we have someone come out. So, or I'm guessing that is what they do. It's for a tech person. I don't know. So, focusing on what we can do for ourselves and for our family and friends right now is we can grow food and we can teach people how to grow food. So that's what my focus is right now. And looking at your different environments is a really good thing to do. So like currently Verna can do a small space and she can do a small outdoor space. You can borrow spaces. So like you can say, oh wow, my neighbor's not using their yard. Hey, if I grow, can I grow vegetables here? Or hey, can I grow a garden here and split the produce with you? There's ways to do that without land. I know when I was in Illinois living in graduate family housing, in Steve's hometown, Macomb, we had garden plots that the school let us do if we lived there. So we had garden plots. So we had our garden plot neighbor and all of that. And so there's ways to garden depending on where you are and depending what's around you without having a garden. So that's something important to know. And you can even garden just very small things in your let's say you don't have access to outdoors. You can grow a lot of things indoors. Dawn, who I don't think is on here yet, she grows hydroponically indoors, and you can do that all indoors and be very successful. So I want to just kind of tell people you can grow things, and you can grow things in places you might not expect. And uh, and again, you can, hey, if the neighbor's yard is all messy and they don't do anything, they never cut the grass or whatever, just go over there and say, hey, are we uh, are we okay with me putting a garden here, and I'll give you some produce? Because sometimes people's yards are unkempt because of maybe they have physical limitations or time limitations, and maybe they would really like to garden, but they don't have the ability or knowledge or any of that. And if you guys can help each other with that, and then I think that's going to be a better solution for everybody. So yeah. I saw JJ came in here. Hi, JJ. Welcome. Serena says, what do plants drink at social gatherings? Compost tea. I didn't post my worm video yet, right? Recently? I know I edited it. I don't think I posted it yet, did I? Maybe I did. I don't remember. Oh, boy. And what did one fruit say to the other? If you hadn't been so fresh, we wouldn't be in this jam. You told that one before. I remember that one. Yeah. Okay. Serena says, I found stink bugs all over 2 of my basil plants last night. They got lots of koalan clay sprayed on them. Um, if you generally just have like a couple of insects, I find the best thing is to crush them. Using clay is fine, especially if you're in like a hot environment, because it can also act as a sunscreen. Uh, but squishing them by hand is going to be, in my mind, the best way, most natural way. Yeah. TM wants to make some apple butter, but I probably won't. If I do, I will use store-bought applesauce. That's fine. You can't. So all apple butter is cooked down applesauce. So you're basically making apple. So if you just start with apples, you're making applesauce, and then you keep on going, and it's just cooked down. That's all it is, and you can do it. You can do it. Okay, and Verna says if you are going to make apple butter, it is best if you start with fresh apples. Yeah, I've never made it from store-bought applesauce, but if you've done that before, Verna, that is good advice. Right, that's true. That's true. So Verna's saying you don't know what all they put in that store-bought stuff. True, true. Um, when you make applesauce, it's just apples. If you want to add a little lemon juice in there, that's fine. If you want to add, cinnamon or something like that, that's fine. But yeah, they do things differently in the store-bought ones, huh? Okay. TM says, maybe I would be making apple butter mainly just for fun. Well, try it. Try it and let us know. JJ says, my West Virginia neighbor cut my hill in West Virginia in exchange for my garden. Oh, okay. I thought you meant like cut the actual hill. I canned his produce in exchange for a third of the produce. That is really, really great. JJ, you know how to do that. Yeah. Yeah, you can trade for sure. You can trade, you can give away, and all of that. Um, for sure. Yeah, and another thing is, I mean, canning as a service, especially like water bath canning, or maybe teaching someone to can, you can also do that. That would be a good thing too. Yeah. Yeah. I do have canning videos from other years. I haven't canned anything at all this year, I don't think. I don't even think I've canned meat this year, have I? I don't think I have. Usually I can some meat, but I've been freeze drying. Um, so with that, there are a lot of things I've have canned. I've done water bath canning and pressure canning, and it's important to know when to do one and when to do the other. And so things like meats and beans and vegetables, you pressure can, and then things like most fruits that you water bath can. Tomatoes is in both categories because we're kind of in a weird thing right now where people have selected tomatoes to be less acidic, and so you're adding lemon juice to it to make it more acidic, which is interesting. Our tastes have changed over the years from more acidic tomato to a more sweet tomato. So yeah. Oh, and JJ's saying, TM, try canned apples. So you're saying just slice them up and can them? I've never done that. I mean, I've done the pie, pie stuff, pie filling. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Hi, Wow. What are you growing? Hopefully you're growing some good things. We're talking gardening here. Andy Rabbit's here. Hello. Hello. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Matt's here from Grafted Branch. Awesome. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Haven't seen you here in a while. Of course, I haven't been on yours in a while either. Busy, busy, busy time. I'm okay with that. But welcome. JJ says, there are places come late summer and early fall to pick your own apples. That is something I guess I should have said when I talked about the apples, is the apple tree that I picked from that was in this week review. It's an early apple. It's a super early apple. So most apples are in the fall. They're ripe in the fall, and this one is ripe now. She will probably give me more in the fall, but not yet. So you can get confused. All right. JJ says, I mostly pressure can for safety sake. Used to just use paraffin on jams, but that was the good old days. Yeah. Yeah. So paraffin and wax and stuff, any recipe that you have that says that is old, and that is not current practice. So that is something. If you have a recipe, the recipe might be good. You might even check on that, but the recipe might be good. But the instructions aren't. Same thing with if it tells you to turn it upside down, that's also a no-no. National Center for Home Food Preservation. Home Food Preservation. I'm getting a website for you guys. You returnees know this already, but I will put it in for newer people. National Center for Home Food Preservation. So that's the stuff to follow. That's where scientists have actually examined recipes and examined actually what happens with the food. And that's what I follow. So there you go. Grafter Branch says, I'm usually working and can't join, but I got 3. Oh, awesome. Well, welcome. Any questions? Why we have you here? All right. JJ says, yes, my apples are all done right now. I don't like early apples too much work going on early summer. Right. Well, this was a tree that was $15.88 on the ugly plant sale, and I could not pass up that deal. It's a sweeter apple. I like the sweeter apples. The more tart apples are actually best for juicing. So like if you have a Granny Smith, even if Granny Smith juice is so much different than the apple itself, and I don't know how, but yeah, here you go. Welcome back, Verna. Yeah, JJ saying, yep, did the can upside down thing too long ago. There was a lot of things we didn't know then, and now we know more. And I'm sure time will happen, and then they'll say, oh, wow, you did that. You shouldn't have done that. That's what science does, though. We test things and keep testing them, and if they come back and say something else, well, we change our ways of doing things. That's what science is. Yeah. Yeah. TM says, I thought about getting some jelly or jam made from apple trees that are descendants of the trees Johnny Appleseed planted, but I was too late. I think I think probably there's lots of descendants of those trees out there for sure. Um, yeah, and he basically planted just random seeds. So, in case I'm going to explain apple seeds to you guys. So, apple seeds are individual. If you have a Granny Smith apple and you plant the seeds of a Granny Smith apple, you're going to get different apples. Some may taste like the parent, some may not taste like the parent. And that's how you get different varieties. So, how do we guarantee that a Granny Smith apple is a Granny Smith apple in the store? Well, they're grafted. So, you have one mother tree, and you end up having several mother trees, right, at some point. But there is one mother tree, and then you cut off a branch and put it on rootstock of another, and that's how you get varieties. So when Johnny Appleseed does all the apples, he's like, I'm planting apples everywhere. Um, a lot of those apples were not good apples, and a lot of those apples turned into cider apples, which is what you do with tart apples. Um, and of the time, that's what they made a lot of. Yeah, I'm sure they're still around. How's everyone doing tonight? I am doing well. I was working right up to the bell here. So that part's not good because I was going to do some stuff between work and now, but it is what it is. Hey, Eric's here. Welcome, Eric, and thank you for the super sticker. I'm glad you are here, and I hope I did see you guys were shopping for stuff for your new apartment, right? So I hope that all goes well. Welcome. Oh, wait, Eric and Serena are on at the same time. Is Serena still on? I want to introduce you guys. You guys are the jokesters. All right. JJ says my apple is Granny Smith, but if you don't pick them at the right time, they turn into a mushed yellow apple. Yeah, they do. Any apple will do that. Well, I mean, okay, so some of them are more crisp than others, but really any of them will do that. Yeah. Yeah. Eric is saying, oh, hi, Verna. All right. Matt says, howdy, y'all. Everybody saying hi. Matt says, I'm learning a lot. All right. Good. Good, good. Eric says, I'm typing worse with autofill. I understood what you were saying after I figured out the B was V. That's completely fine. Thank you, Eric. Oh, okay. TM says these trees were started from cuttings. Well, I'm sure there's more cuttings. Some apples do start from cutting. From like they'll like if you cut down a tree, they'll regrow from the bottom. Some apples are really known for that. Plums, some of them are known for that too. Mulberries, yeah. JJ's doing laundry. All right. Verna says Johnny Chapman, aka Johnny Appleseed, planted crabapple trees, mostly for cider. There you go. Oh, you moved in, Eric. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Congratulations. I bet your mom is excited. Yeah. All right. A Johnny Appleseed is an interesting story to read about. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Verna. Oh, boy. Oh. Johnny Appleseed is related to, I mean, Verna is related to Johnny Appleseed? Is that what I'm reading here? Related to your mother's side of the family? Well, there you go. It's in your blood. Erica says, my daughter has one of his trees in her front yard. Awesome. Like the original? One of the original trees? That's awesome. Eric's mom is extremely happy. That is awesome. Good, good. Andy Rabbit says, oh, yeah. Yeah, Verna wasn't on Saturday. All right. We introduced Serena and Eric. I think you guys are soulmates when you're joking. How has it come this long that you guys have not been on at the same time? Oh, yeah. Yep. All right, so you guys have questions about using your space well or about food forest type things? Because that's what my goal is to talk about today. Um, I know a lot of small space stuff. There's things you can do like growing vertically. So that's one big option is growing vertically, either using like I use is the green stock towers. Those are really, really good space savings. You can you can grow 36 plants in a space you can hug. That's my line. And then so that's one thing. Growing up cattle panels, that's another thing you can do. Because if you grow like, okay, cucumbers, for example, they can grow, I don't know, 10 feet, maybe longer. And if they're doing that on the ground, then it's going to take up a lot of time and a lot of space. And you're going to spend a lot of time looking for things. If you grow up a trellis, it will free up that space. And you could and you can see things more. So yeah. So that's one example. And then another example is to use all 7 of the permaculture, the layers, basically. You guys remember what those are? Test time. Okay, and Verna says green stock towers are great for small spaces or small places, but be careful with your planting, thinking how they will be when they're mature. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, know where all the vegetative parts of your plants are going. They do have these like extender things that are the vines are supposed to go on and stuff. I've never used them, but yeah. All right, Eric says she can't believe it still. I'm now paying 200 per month with the rest of 650 a month taken care of by third party support. That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, she loves the idea of incredible deal. That is, yeah, that's true. That's true of most people. So yeah, growing in small spaces is something I think even if you don't have a small space, it's good to think about because um, sometimes growing in a smaller space, you get more biodiversity, or you can potentially get more biodiversity, and that will potentially protect your plants from predators, insects and stuff like that, because it's not just a monoculture, it's a multicultural. It's a well-rounded garden. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Verna got them. You got the things. What are they called? The things that go out on the green stalks, the supports, plant supports. You're not using it this year, letting tomatoes fall towards the ground so the peppers get sun. There you go. You got a plan for that. Yeah. Matt asks, how do you best battle pests when plants are dense in small areas or food forests? Luckily, I haven't had very many insect pests yet. The thing that I am dealing with the most right now is rats and possum and raccoon. But the I haven't had a pest outbreak, and I think it's because I have so many things in the same area. So like if you look at my garden, it does look messy, and like I do leave the stems of dead plants there sometimes for a while. And if you have that going on, you have habitat for some of the predator insects. And if you have the predator insects around, then they'll respond when there's a lot of prey. So I guess my point is like, okay, if you have aphids, if you get rid of all the aphids, every single one of them, let's say you spray a bunch of poison or something, then the ladybugs won't have anything to eat. So if you have some aphids and some on some plants, and you can have some sacrifice plants, um, because the food's already there, the predators are already there, and then they can just amp up when there is more predators. So I don't know that I have a good answer as far as after things get infested, and I think that it might be my climate too, or it might be how I garden, which is a little chaotic. I don't know if I'm answering the question, Matt. I'm probably not the best answer. Let me know. Let me know how I can refine it for you. Oh, there's an answer. Okay. Okay. Erica says the tree she was talking about was a descendant of one of those trees planted 1940. All right. Serena's blue. I never know how to say that. Adirondack potato plants are beginning to die, so the potatoes should be ready to harvest soon. How do I save seed potatoes? So seed potatoes, you save by putting them in a cool, dark place, not the refrigerator. And people can save them in like a paper bag, or they can save them in I've seen potato crates. And some potatoes store better than others. I don't know about the variety, but that's how you save them is make sure they're not clumped together. So this is when you want them to air out and dry and make a callus, not make a callus, but to cure a little bit on the outside. So, make a rack or have them out there with some airflow, not in the sun. And they will make a little bit harder skin. And then you can put it into an appropriate storage place where it's dark so it won't sprout and not moist. So yeah, good luck. Plant supports. Is that just the name of it, Verna? Plant supports? All right. Eric says, if you see a robbery in an Apple store, does that mean you are an eyewitness? Oh my gosh. Okay, Andy Rabbit says Captain Jack bug spray. That is something I've heard of. It basically, I forget where, Bermuda, Bahama, somewhere down there that starts with B, was at a distillery, I think, and this bacterium was found in a distillery, and someone thought, let's spray it on some bugs and see if it dies, if it kills them. I don't know what they thought. I don't know how these things happen, but that's what happened. And now they have procreated the bacterium, and it is now sold in a spray. So that is organic way to address insects. The only thing about that kind of approach is it's a bug spray, right? So it's an all bug spray. It's not a some bug spray. If you're killing a bug, you're probably killing another kind of bug, which may have been good for your garden. So that's the only thing. But yeah, I have heard of that, and I have heard it works really well. Thank you, Andy. Eric says, so has anyone else used WD-40 to get rid of mice? It doesn't work, but it stops the squeaking. So, Eric, this is actually something that multiple someone's told me to do for rats. When I lived with my grandma, the rats were getting into both our cars and chewing wires, and it was ridiculous. This one year, there's a really high rat population. And that was one of the things they said to do, is to spray WD-40 on the ground outside your vehicle. And I don't know that it worked or not. I don't have proof. Yeah. Anyway. TM says, I wanted to get a cutting from the tree that grew outside of Anne Frank's hiding place. I think it was a chestnut tree of some kind, but I didn't have the money at the time. You're going to have to go back. You're going to have to go back, TM. That's all there is to it. Eric, you're on fire. Scientists have proven that rodents are very sensitive to human sarcasm. I read this and I don't give a rat's ass. Figure out the word. Okay, that was a good answer. You need better balance. Matt, it's something that, so balance is something that's really important in everything. You guys realize the second part of the channel's name is Tare. Tare is to zero out a balance. So one of the interpretations of the name for the channel, Sow and Tare. Sow is to start things or begin things. It also means to plant seeds. You can sow an idea, a thought, a deed. You can sow seeds. And then tare is to reach balance. So uh, it's balance. It can be balancing out your life. It can be balancing out your health, balancing out your diet, reaching balance in what you put in versus what you get out. There's a lot of. I chose the name for a reason, and I really really like it. And so balance is something we should all strive to find in all areas of our life. But yeah, a balance in your garden or in your food forest in your world is a good thing. Um, the the way you think about it is very rarely in nature is there an infestation, right? So a few years ago, several years ago, it's a long time ago, uh, there was an area in Monterey County. I was at a job site. I would go there every week, and I was just watching these oak trees, these live oak trees, which are the kind that they don't go dormant in winter, so they would have leaves all the time. They were losing their leaves. These caterpillars had come out of nowhere and were just chewing up these trees. And I was like, oh my gosh, so many, so many. The whole area looked dead, didn't have any leaves. And I was thinking, oh great, they're all dead, they're diseased, they're gonna be gone. And the next year, or the next season, they started growing leaves. That happened 1 year. I never happened before, never happened since. Something was out of whack in that system, or maybe like cicadas, maybe the California oak moth. That's what it was. And somebody can look up whether or not they're cyclic or not. But it's something that either exists in nature in a balanced way, usually, or something that has a cycle. And something that has a cycle could have a reason for that cycle. It could be the cleanup crew, like, hey, let's just start over, guys. Let's start over, right? All these leaves need to go. I kind of think it not really similar, but kind of similar when I give blood. I think that it's like, okay, my body's making new blood, having a new start, getting fresh stuff into my system. Because you give blood, you give a lot of blood. It's a pint, plus the test tubes. And it does make your body make new things. So the hope is either your body or the ecosystem is making new things, and the new things are good. So I think in nature, the reasons for infestations are likely to clean up a system. It identifies an imbalance. This is just me thinking, guys. It identifies an imbalance in the system, and it cleans up the system. So those are the two things of what I am thinking of in natural systems, why something might be an infestation. So in my yard, I like to have, things kind of everywhere. It's a really good idea to incorporate natives into the yard. So I have California poppies. They came in from my neighbor. I didn't plant them, but I have California poppies everywhere. There's different types of different flowers coming in everywhere. I do have in the front yard, there's a pollinator garden that has a lot of different things for the bees and for the, everything. I mean, I see green lacewings in the yard all the time. That's a predator insect. They're very pretty and very slender. And supporting a full ecosystem is like supporting a full immune system, if that makes sense. So you have all the different parameters that make up this good thing. And there might be little fights in here and there, but you'll get through. So that's the takeaway for me. All right. And Verna says, Katrina, I think the reason is because you don't have roles of the same plant. That way you have helter skelter is protection in itself. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And the more you have that, number one, the less you may have one plant that's just like destroyed or something, but you're not going to have that throughout your whole system because you're going to have your protectors for your other plants, right? They're going to mask scents and pheromones and all of that if you're kind of mixed in. Yeah. Eric says, what do you call fake potatoes? Imitators. Andy says, if I have a bad enough bug problem, this is my thoughts. The good bugs ain't doing anything, so I'm taking care of the bad bugs anyway. I need to at that point. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, Andy. Yeah. Yeah. Eric says, I saw a man with one leg standing at the ATM. I guess he was checking his balance. Oh, thank you, Matt. Matt with Grafted Branch Homestead says, I like that a lot about your channel's name. That's cool. It is. It is. And the thing is, I had the name in my head for a year before I started it. I should have just started it. I was like, I don't know if anybody will get it, and people don't. But then I explain it, and some of them please don't, still don't get it, and some are like, oh, that's cool, or some are like, okay, that's weird. I don't care. Yeah. But thank you. Eric says, I lost my job at the bank. On my first day, a woman asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over. Gosh. Andy says, I want to eat my food first, not let the bugs. You don't want that extra protein and keratin? Come on, Andy. What's wrong with you? Okay, Serena says, are there certain plants that repel stink bugs? I do not know. I do not deal with stink bugs here that I know about. So somebody else may be able to answer that. And if you know, let Serena know. TM says, I don't grow corn, but I don't like corn earworms. Yeah. Yep. Okay, and Verna says, no, stink bugs eat all plants. So it may be something that you want to, I don't know what eats a stink bug. I don't know. Because if you provide habitat for the predator of whatever insect is the pest, that's going to be your best bet. And I don't know what that is for this case. Yeah. DM said I don't like corn spud either. Yeah. And corn is a little bit tricky because it really is grown in a block. I don't know of anybody that kind of interplants corn very much. I mean, you do, the beans and squash and corn, the three sisters, but I don't know that actually deters anything. I don't know. Serena says, why were the plants drunk? They had too much root beer. Fun fact, the root beer flavor comes from the sassafras tree. Yep, comes from a leaf. The original taste of root beer. Sassafras. All right. Happens you have bladder infection, you're in trouble. Hey, Steve's here. Steve says, growing garlic, catnip, lavender, thyme, chrysanthemum, and even radishes will help repel stink bugs. Cool. Is that a Googling activity? I know mint is supposed to repel flies, and it definitely does not work. There's flies that love the spearmint. They're on it all the time with the flowers. I don't know what that says about spearmint flowers. Yeah. Eric says, this morning I coughed up a pawn, a knight, and a bishop. I must have a chest infection. Gosh. What do you call a horse's infection? Contaminated. Okay, I didn't say that right, but it's okay. All right. Serena says, I was growing thyme, but now it won't even give me the time of day. So I grew thyme for a long time, and it did really, really well in the mound where the avocado tree is and the peach tree until it got, I think what happened is it got way too shaded out, which is weird because I thought thyme was okay with shade, but it kind of just gradually died out, and that was kind of disappointing. Yeah. Andy says, yesterday I found out that my grandkids pulled some of my garlic out of the ground. Dang bugs. It is some nice looking garlic. That's good. That's good. Now should be about the time garlic is coming out. I actually didn't plant garlic. There's some planted from the other year, and I just haven't done anything with it. Andy says, I have rabbits and quail for the protein. You don't need no stinking bugs? Is that what I'm hearing? All right. Eric says, I'm having fish dinner right now. I know how much I love fish. No, I don't. I don't love fish. You can eat it all. All for you. Oh. TM says, so it can pollinate. I don't know what you're responding to. I don't know what you're responding to, TM. Ooh, Andy ordered some black soldier fly. You just said you didn't eat any protein. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Steve says, you know darn well it was Google because I know only what Google knows. Well, you could say I know everything Google knows. Google knows everything I know. I don't know. Maybe that one's scary. Oh. Grafter Branch says, my scissors are the only thing I've found to make the stink bugs go all the way away. They're not like in Fantasia. They don't turn into two. Oh, yeah. Andy says I want them to eat the fly larvae already. You know, I've had the fly predators stuff, and I just think that the ecosystem of that area got out of whack with it because I used to have black soldier flies, and now they're not there, and now just the other flies are. And I think that screwed up with the system. So, there you are. Eric says, why do lightning bugs like Gatorade? It has electrolytes. TM says Google makes everyone an expert. Oh, the corn. You were responding to corn. Yeah, so it can pollinate. Yeah, so they plant corn in blocks so it can pollinate well. Yeah. Thank you, and thank you, Steve. Google makes everyone an expert. I don't know. I think having that around makes everyone a little bit on the non-expert side of things because we don't remember. I think we probably don't retain as much information as we used to. I don't know. I'm the generation that there was a class in high school because the internet was newly available to people. There was a class in high school called Internet Research, and we learned how to use certain words to search the internet, and you use bold words and quotations and all this stuff, and you don't have to do that anymore. Yeah. Serena says, what vegetable hurts when you step on it? Corn. What virus is drunk? Coronavirus? Oh boy. Andy says, I have never pulled this much garlic at once. I only pull what I want when I need it. It's been in the ground for over 12 years. I'm thinking I might plant some somewhere else. That's a good thought. That's a good thought. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Eric, we're not talking politics, so I'm going to delete that comment. And I know you're innocent in that, but I'm deleting it. Steve says, 12 years? Do you have elephant garlic bulbs? That's not how that works, Steve. She may very well have that, but that's not how it's working. Oh, Serena says we need more likes. 12 watching, 7 likes. All right. Andy says I get black soldier fly larvae here every year, but they start so late the flies take over by the time they wake up, it seems. So maybe you need to have like your own little brooding place, like keep them warm and baby and all that, and then put them out there. Not a bad idea. Matt says thumbs up, y'all. Dawn! Hi, Dawn! Oh no, I forgot. I'm so late. I can only stay a bit. Well, that is okay. I hope you are doing well and you are walking and everything is going well on that front. And welcome. Okay. So Steve said, or Andy says, yes, Steve, that is what I was told when someone gave me my start. That makes sense. Yeah. Fish spring rolls for dinner. Eric, I'm glad you like that. All right. Oh, Serena, you did it. 13 watching, 13 likes. Thank you. Serena says, how do you make an egg roll? Push it. Oh, Dawn was totally distracted. Hopefully by good things. It's only good things. Oh, that's what you're planning on doing? Awesome, Andy. Good. You're keeping a colony of flies to chase your flies away. It sounds silly, but I totally get it. C says, most of my flies depart right after the black soldier flies come out of hibernation. I can tolerate them for a month. Okay. Dawn says, I only started walking yesterday, just 12 feet. The foot is still far too bad. Okay. Well, hopefully it's going in a positive direction, hopefully. Andy says, or I just can't tell the difference between the flies and black soldier fly maggots. It could be. I don't know the difference between those two. I know the difference when they're adults. Yeah. Uh-oh. Steve says he got his 6 likes and still 7 likes short. Uh-oh. Oh, Steve, you're funny. But thank you. Oh, man. All right, so we talked a little bit about food foresty type stuff with the non-monoculture planting, the random gardening planting method. Okay, what are the 7 layers in a food forest? We have fungal on the bottom. Wait, roots, fungal, ground cover, shrub, understory, overstory, and vines. So those are the seven layers. So if you don't have 7 layers, I don't have 7 layers. If you don't have 7 layers, you have room to grow. All right. Serena says, was anyone in the middle of cicada territory, and how did it affect your garden or benefit if you were? That is a good question. So when the cicadas came out in mass, what did that how did that affect your I don't think cicadas have mouths. Did I just say something not factual? Do cicadas eat when they're in their adult form? Apparently they have piercing sucking mouth parts that look like hypodermic needles. Oh. Okay, as adults. Maybe I should say as adults. Okay. All right. Well, they do. So, let us know. Andy does not want to become a maggot inspector. Okay. Okay. You don't have to. Oh, Steve says we hardly saw any cicada. And Verna says they were bad year before last. Did they eat your plants or did they just hang out? Because when I was out there during school in Iowa, and there was an emergence one year, but I wasn't gardening or anything out there, so I didn't pay attention to that. I just remember they had cicadas, and then there was cicada killers, is like this big like wasp looking thing. They carry a whole cicada. They're like that far off the ground. They look like they're drunk because it's so heavy. Yeah. Don says, we had all three kinds of cicadas here. They do not affect plants, trees, or roots. They do not bite or hurt anything. P.S. I have a cicada lover friend. Aw. Yeah, I didn't think they caused damage. Right. That's why I thought. Okay, Verna's saying when they grow their wings, they do not eat. They live only long enough to mate. That's right. Don says, I know they don't bite, look mean, and are kind of scary. They're loud. They're loud. We have cicadas here. They're much smaller than the Midwestern cicadas, and they don't like have like it's like you see one or two. We've never had like an emergence like the ones you guys have. I don't know if never is the right word, but never since I've been here. But sometimes, not every year, but some years I hear one, maybe two. Yeah. TM says, I was wanting to watch Bay's Place Guerrilla Gardening. Oh, yeah, waiting for now. Verna will, yeah. Okay, so Verna's saying, didn't get to it this year. Yeah, probably do it the next year, right, Verna? Andy says adult black soldier fly larvae don't have mouths. A lot of insects don't have mouths. It's just a waste. It's a waste of their time because by the time they're adults, they have one job to do, and that is to make more. Yeah. Uh, Grafted Branch says, I find cicada shells all over, but hadn't noticed damage. Only ground holes. Yep. Yep. BSF is black soldier fly, and black soldier fly is a fly, but they are a fly that they do some pretty cool things. So number one, they their larvae parasitize and eat. I don't think they parasitize; they just eat, right? Like housefly larvae. So other species of fly, which are more bothersome, they eat their larvae. And so if you have black soldier flies, they hunt them down basically. And so they have that. And then they're also, if you keep a colony of them, they can eat meat. So if you keep worms, like you have vermiculture and keep worms, those worms can't have things like meat and bread and dairy. And the black soldier flies can. I don't know about dairy, but I think they probably can. Uh, they can eat, if you have a dead animal, you can put that, I mean, small dead animal, you can put that into their enclosure, I guess you want to call it, and they will take care of it. And people use them to clean skulls sometimes. So a lot of people who are cleaning skulls for crafts or whatever, they'll use dermestid beetles. But a lot of people actually use black soldier flies for that. Black soldier flies are also something like mealworms that you can find in pet food stores and in, um, you know, like Tractor Supply and stuff like that to feed your chickens or your quail. And it is an extra boost of protein and calcium. And what they do is in that form, they're not live, they're dried and dehydrated. So in that form, they have basically really good protein, really good calcium levels for them. Yeah. Good question, Serena, because not everybody knows all the abbreviations. Andy says, well, they don't eat as an adult, just the larva eats anyway. That makes sense. Thank you, Steve. Black soldier fly. They're called soldier flies because they soldier. Like they go out and they fight things and eat them and kill them and make room for their own babies. All right. Dawn says I had cicada claw up through the mud when I planted new apple trees and watered them, and it was creepy. Oh, they do stay underneath the ground. Yeah. Okay, so Matt with Grafted Branch says we have cicada killers for sure. Yeah, I don't know what the real name is, if that's the real name or not. That's what everybody called them. And they're like wasps. They have like the stripes for bees. They're wasps and they sting them and they carry them off. Yeah. JJ says I've only heard 2 cicadas this year. The the first time I heard a cicada and it wasn't in the Midwest was at Heart Mountain National Antelope Refuge in southeastern Oregon, where I did my internship for my biology stuff. And it came from a sagebrush right next to the trail, and I totally thought a rattlesnake was in the sagebrush. Because yes, rattlesnakes can climb sagebrush. Don't know if that's something you wanted to know or needed to know, but you know it now. But this one was not a rattlesnake. It was a insect. Yeah. Steve says cicadas don't eat plants, but they can damage your leaves as they cut slits in them for places to lay eggs. Okay. Don says, I don't know anyone who likes cicadas landing on them. That's got to be a small group, right? Small group of individuals. Maybe they have a get together. Um, yeah, Verna says different areas have different swarms at different times. That's true. I think some of them though go every year. I think some, like you hear about like the 19 year and the 17 year. I think there's ones that are like every year, every other year, and so it's less at a time. Yeah. JJ says the only time I've seen an overpopulation of cicada in northern Michigan, early 70s. Okay. And Buster says I've had a grasshopper problem. I used to have, you guys know what a black phoebe is? It's a bird. It's a bird. Phoebe. I used to have a black phoebe trained. It's a native bird, wild, but it was trained. Whenever I go Phoebe, it would come over, and I had a tall ladder that was always set up, and I would always put insects on there for him. There was one year we had tons of grasshoppers, and I got really good at clapping grasshoppers. You like go like this, and you get it. And I would put it up there, and I had it trained. It had a nest on the back of my neighbor's garage, and every time it would fly around and come up, grab it, and go right back. It's so funny. Yeah, grasshopper problems. I mean, clapping grasshoppers is what I do. Chickens will like your grasshoppers. Quail, they might be too big for. They'll eat them if you put them in there, I'm sure, but they might be too big for your quail. All right. Steve says black soldier fly larvae as flies, not larvae as flies, black soldier flies as flies do not have mouths. They only live to mate. Yep. TM says I like the sound of cicadas. I guess I got used to the sound when I lived in Mississippi. It can be deafening, though. It can really be deafening. Yeah. Oh, yes, Verna. Around the Great Lakes, they have mayflies, which is worse than cicadas. They coat everything that is outside. I remember this from when I was in Iowa, and the bridges, like bridges over water, would be slippery, like ice slick, because of all the little mayfly bodies on the bridge that have been squished, and it was slick. It was really gross. Don says, my cicada-loving friend showed me videos of all his cherry trees and told me they don't do any damage. His trees were loaded, and his close-up shot video of them on the leaves stated no damage. Awesome. Awesome. I didn't think so, but I thought it was worth asking people who see this more than I do. Black soldier fly is best super friend, JJ says. Yes. Yes. And Andy says black soldier fly are great computers. 2 days and a pile of poop is turned into dirt. Computers? Composters, maybe, is what you meant to say. They could compute. They might do math. Oh boy. Yeah. Yep, that's why I think, Steve. All right. JJ says we have bad mayflies near the lake, but they only last for a season. I've seen mayflies here, but not nearly like in the Midwest. You guys have your bugs. You can keep your bugs. Yeah. Verta says usually May and June to JJ. Yeah. All right. And JJ's, yep. It was still cooler cold outside. Okay. Yeah, I think they're one of the first ones to emerge, right? Oh, and Verna hasn't seen them in 16 years. Okay. TM says, I heard alligators can climb trees too. I find that hard to believe. I wouldn't put them past them if it's depending on how the branches are. There are dogs that climb trees. There's a whole wolf pack up in, I want to say Vancouver. I don't know. It's up in Canada somewhere. That they live basically in the trees. Like they have, there's a lot of water and they're on the islands and they swim between the islands and they are up in the trees all the time. So, I mean, if it's the right tree, alligators can climb chain link fences, so it's possible. Yeah, JJ. Mayflies, uh, you find them creepy because they cover you. They just want to land on you. They don't need to do anything else to you. Yeah. Steve says both crocodiles and alligators can climb trees, and they've both been spotted perched on tree branches as high up as 30 feet, otherwise known as a goat. Oh, yeah, Verna says the rats in my trees probably have a nest in the tree roots. Probably not. It's probably in the garage or in a neighbor's garage or in a neighbor's something else. Several years ago, we had rat issues. Someone in the alleyway was feeding bird seed to the birds. And guess what? Yep, the rats also got fed. So, yeah, probably not in the roots. There's not really burrows that I see in that area, and the trees are still doing good. So, yeah. Serena says, of grasshopper, crickets, or locusts, which is the most damaging and what is the best way to control them organically? Crickets aren't damaging at all. Like maybe they are, but they aren't. And grasshoppers and locusts are basically the same thing. So I think it depends on what you have in your area. I haven't had any, I don't think crickets create any issue. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Best way to control them organically is to clap them. Find them and clap them. That's what I've done, and unless there's a bunch of them, which I know the locusts are known for, they come in mass. I don't really know how you can fight, when the locusts come. Yeah. Okay, Verna says beagles are great for finding trees that have rat nests in them. There's, I think, terriers too, right? Yeah. Ooh, JJ says we do have huge wasps this year. You don't have the murder hornet, do you? Just huge wasps. And you haven't had too many crickets this year. Okay. Verna's saying, I don't think you have to worry too much about locusts so much in the States. They are a type of grasshopper that turn into locusts under certain conditions. There were locusts in the United States that were an issue for crops. I want to say in the last 5 years. And I don't remember. I want to say it was like New Mexico or something. I think it was somewhere dry that had issues with locusts. And that's all I know about that. But yeah, there were some in the United States within the last, I want to say, 5 years. Yeah. Hey, PJ. Hi, all. Power was out. Just came back on. Awesome. Awesome. How is grandmotherhood again? Hope you're doing well. Oh, and Verna hasn't heard crickets either. We don't have a whole lot of crickets here, so that wouldn't be unusual here. Yeah. Steve's so glad you can see the light, PJ. Oh, thank you, Andy. Was that from last week? Andy says, "Hey, Katrina, did you ask us to remind you wanted to ask JJ something, but I don't remember what it was." Truffles. JJ, was it you that was talking about truffles? Can you re-educate us? Because we forgot. We were talking about truffles. Was it a couple weeks ago? I think it was a couple weeks ago. Re-educate us about your experience with truffles, please, if you don't mind. Thank you, Andy. I did forget about that. Dawn says, my cicada friend is now doing grasshopper videos. He wears a glove and will pick up a grasshopper as long as his hand. Huge, nasty teeth. Freaked me out. He is here in Illinois, just north of me. Dawn, grasshoppers don't have teeth, but they have nasty, nasty mouth parts. And they also can crawl up your pants and bite you on the back of your thigh when you're in a group of people in the high desert. And yep, I squished that thing. Yeah, that sucked because being bit by a grasshopper, I mean, it thought it was in mortal danger because I'm sure when I was walking, the pants got tighter on the back of the thigh, where you step, and bit me. But that really, really hurt. Yeah. PJ says, yeah, Bruce and I were telling stories. Awesome. How old is Bruce now? I would like to know that. Steve says, oh, now what was the question for JJ? It was about who told Katrina something. Yeah, it was JJ. I think. I remember I was saying it was JJ or Amy, and I think it was JJ. We'll see what she says. I know I'm you guys probably already know, but I'm scrolling down. Don't know yet. Yes, Andy Rabbit has stuff on YouTube. Andy says, Tim, that would be cool to see, but not in real life. Matt says, I gotta run, Katrina and y'all. Happy I got to catch it live this time. Have a good evening. Have a wonderful evening, Matt. Have a wonderful evening. Glad you were able to make it. All right, everybody say bye. And TM, I read what you said wrong. I'll tell you what I read. I read I don't like tornado hornworms. And I was going to agree. I don't like tornado hornworms either. That's not what you wrote. You wrote tomato hornworms. A tornado of hornworms would be a scary sight. Yeah, I don't know that anybody does, except for chickens. Chickens like tomato hornworms. My parents just recently got them. We didn't have them growing up. They're in the high desert in Oregon, and we didn't have them growing up. And all of a sudden, they got them. It's been several years now, but I thought it was really weird. They just showed up after years and years of nothing. All right. Especially hornworms with wasp eggs. Why do you hate hornworms with wasp eggs? So they're when a tomato hornworm chomps on a plant, usually a tomato or tomato family plant, nightshade, uh, that plant sends off a pheromone to protect itself. It calls in for reinforcements, and wasps arrive and lay eggs on the back of the hornworm. When the eggs hatch, they hatch and devour the hornworm. Isn't that fun? That's fun, right? What's not to like about that? Absolutely. Andy says they say a black light at night to find hornworms. Hornworms, scorpions, and millipede legs. Just the legs. Uh, for black light, for sure. PJ says baby is great. They got home on Thursday. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Matt's taking a long time to say bye. That's okay. Yes, truffles. Oh, JJ hasn't answered yet. Yes. Thank you, Andy. Steve says National Geographic says we no longer have locust swarms in the U.S. I know that it was on the news and it was on. I get an email from that's a CMPS. CMPS? I think it's CMPS. Email that was telling about a bunch. So Buster says congratulations, BJ. What? Verna, I've never heard of that. Grasshoppers will also spit on you like tobacco spit. Is this a cartoon you were watching? Interesting. Oh, Serena is asking, are grasshoppers green or are those praying mantis? Praying mantis can be green. They can also be straw colored and brown. Grasshoppers can be green. They can be brown. They can be almost black. They can be red and orange. They can be yellow. There's lots of different ones out there. Grasshoppers, their rear wings can be colorful or can be plain. So there's a lot of different colors of grasshoppers, a lot of different species of grasshopper. So I don't know what you saw. And for anybody watching, maybe you saw something in your yard like that and want to know what it is. I will put up the Friends of Sow and Tare Facebook group here. If you want to join, go ahead and answer the questions because that's how we know you're a real person. And accept the rules because if you don't accept the rules, you don't get in. So there you go. Verna says, yes, Steve, they say that Rocky Mountain locusts are extinct. Okay. Aw, Bruce will be 5 right after QuailCon. Last year at QuailCon, Bruce gave me a big hug. I'm not a stranger to him. Hi, Bruce. I don't know if you're watching. Cutie. All right. JJ has question marks. Didn't you talk about truffles or white? Weren't they white truffles under like pine or aspen or something? I may be making up this whole thing. Other people remembered it too, though. Steve says both the praying mantis and the grasshopper are green or greenish. They can be green or greenish, not always. Yeah. All right. Serena says, what can I grow to attract parasitic wasps to eat the tomato hornworms? They will give off a pheromone. The plants will give off a pheromone, and they will call them themselves. So that's how that happens. I would say nectar sources probably for the wasps because they do eat nectar too. The parasitic wasp, the reason why they're parasitic is they lay eggs in that thing. They themselves don't eat that. So they themselves need pollen and nectar, and I don't remember what they actually eat, but they eat, other things. So if you have that habitat, so like a flower garden, pollinator garden, that will help. Yeah. Everybody's asking JJ's story on truffles. Okay, it was JJ. Yay! Okay. She's saying, hold on, I have the name of those truffles. Awesome. JJ, you're awesome. Serena says, then what are the big brown and light brown hopping insects? Locusts? No, they can be grasshoppers. There's grasshoppers of all colors. Yeah. And there's other hopping insects. So, yeah. Katydid is also somewhat looks like a grasshopper. Those I think are always green, at least the ones I've seen. Yeah, so we're explaining colors. Colors. Yeah, they use camouflage. That's true. True. Oh, Verna says it was an experience I had as a child. There was a field that we cut through to get home from school, and it was full of grasshoppers. All right. JJ's like, stop talking to me. I need to put together my information. JJ's full of knowledge. Oh, Dawn, I have a story for you. So Dawn says, I hate praying mantis as well. They get in my porch around the screen door. Sometimes they are 1 inch long. 1 foot long? 1 foot long? You have 1 foot long praying mantis. That long. Are you sure? So there was a praying mantis that about that big that was up in the grass. I was doing a hike one day and with a friend, and she was ahead of me, and then I'm like, what the heck is that? Because I saw a woodpecker. So there was a woodpecker wing in the trail, and just the wing, and then there was a woodpecker wing in the grass, but it was like this high up in the grass, and a praying mantis had dragged it there. Probably not killed the woodpecker. Hey, they're tough. It may have, right? No, it wouldn't. But it dragged that over and up into the grass, and it was like in the grass, like up off the ground, eating on this woodpecker wing. I'm like, if that's not like something unique, man, there you go. It was cool though. I have a picture somewhere. Yeah, nature's fun. Serena says, I saw a bright green hopping bug, not sure if it was grasshopper or praying mantis a week ago. I mean, there's all sorts of insects, so it could be other ones. Andy says, my dad says grasshoppers fell through a rainbow on their way down to Earth because they're all the different colors. I get it. I get it. TM says, what are those big black and yellow and black and red things that look like big grasshoppers? They're probably big grasshoppers. Yeah, there's all sorts of different colors. Yes, I agree with Steve. I love praying mantis. They are neat. They are so neat. They're so neat. And they are voracious eaters. Bruce says hi, hi. Verna says it was is asking, was it skinny or fat? Mantis are skinny. They are skinny. Not as skinny as a stick bug, but they are skinny. Yeah. With how voracious eaters they are, I don't know how they keep their weight down. Need to learn that secret, huh? Yeah, they do rip the head off the mate. That is true. Praying mantis are beneficial, so I grow marigolds for them. This is Dawn. They love marigolds here to live in or stay in. Awesome. And they are very good in the garden. I've seen little teeny tiny ones like this, fresh out of the egg sac. So also, let me see if I can find this real quick. I did a video, but I don't remember if it was a standalone or not. And no, it wasn't standalone. Okay. Probably in one of the weekly review, a couple of weekly review videos, I have pictures of some egg sacs. So egg sacs are about that long for praying mantis, the species we have here. There are multiple species. And there's many little eggs in this sac, and they attach to things. I've had them attached to the house, the garbage can, and the fence. I think that's it. But they'll attach to things usually pretty low, usually about, that low to that low off the ground. And then the babies hatch and they go all over the place. They're good in the garden. Okay. JJ has answers. The truffles in West Virginia that I found, we called them blonde truffles, but don't think they are the same ones found in Washington and Oregon. Truffle is tuber lioni, usually with oak and pecan. Truffle story. Son got me white pine trees from the forest. They had yarrow in the dirt. That's right. We were talking about yarrow and other wild plants. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, that was what the story was. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Grows in Alaska. Welcome. Says hello from Alaska. Whereabouts in Alaska are you? And what do you grow? All right. Welcome. Dawn has 1 foot long praying mantis. Oh my gosh. I've never seen them get that big. Goodness. Oh, there's more of the story. JJ says, when I went to dig up some of the yarrow to transplant, I found the truffles stuck and growing off the yarrow. Okay. That was a story. I forgot about the yarrow part. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Verna's saying 1 foot long is probably walking stick. I'm kind of thinking the same thing, Verna, but hey, bugs get big. Bugs get big. Yeah. Yes, mantids are meat eaters. Oh, and now we're saying the thing that Serena's seeing looks like a mantis. Yeah, let's through some pictures on Google. See what happens. Was cosplayer of insect praying mantis? Oh boy. Dawn says, oh yeah, the babies are so tiny and cute. Little tiny. They are always on the porch because the garden surrounds the porch. They are super tiny. It's like, what do you eat when you're that little? I don't know how fast they grow either. They have to grow pretty fast, I think. Oh, JJ has more to those pine tree story. They grew until they got hit by a dewy diver. Dewy diver? I don't know what that is. Flying off the mountain or hill, but saved mine and my neighbors' houses. I got a good chunk of cash off those for replacement. What is a dewy diver? I have to look. I gotta look things up, guys. Dewy diver. Oh, I think I was reading something instead. You're saying DUI driver. I read Dewey diver. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day. Andy said I should clip that video and make it a standalone. The mantid. I don't even know which one it is, so that's not happening anytime soon. If I find another one, I'll do a short for it or something. Yeah. Yep. Anchorage. Grows in Alaska. I almost went to Pacific Alaska University. I got in, I went there, I said, the school's too small, which it wasn't. Anchorage was too big. Yes, it is. So I have been to Anchorage. Everything I grow indoors during winter. Awesome. Good. Yeah, I didn't go to Alaska Pacific University, and it would have been a really good school. In my mind, it was too small. It was like 600 people, but it probably would have given a really good education. And yeah, maybe I would have ended up in Alaska then, huh? Yeah. Steve says Dawn is overfeeding her praying mantis. Maybe. JJ says, moral of my trouble story, plant wild pine trees in your yard for good fortune. Oh, gosh. Right. All right. Serena says, what do you call a 12-inch by 12-inch garden? Square foot garden. So square foot gardening is an actual thing. I don't remember who did it. Somebody probably knows. Yes, thank you, Steve. I figured it out. My brain was being ridiculous. Yeah, so square foot gardening is something that some people do. You put one of something plant in every square foot. Some plants, you do 4 or 5 in a square foot. And it's a very calculated way of planting things. You guys don't notice that's not how I operate. Yeah. But a lot of people do it. A lot of people find success with it. So that's good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Verna says, Serena, you may be joking, but it is real. Yep. Steve, I don't need it spelled out anymore. I did apparently originally. Dewey driver. I thought it said diver too. I was like, what? What? Oh my gosh. Dawn says, I thought babies ate whiteflies, bug larvae, aphids, or parents feed them. I never thought much about it. They grow fast though. So we're talking about the mantids. I've never seen an adult near the egg casing. If there is parenting, I am unaware of it. And has anybody else seen parenting? I think they just eat whatever. There's all sorts of little teeny tinies. Yeah, has anybody seen a mantid parent? I've seen daddy longlegs parent. I don't think they give food, but they give protection of their babies. That was pretty cool. I saw that on the front porch right by the door. There was a mama daddy longlegs that had a bunch of babies, and she another one would approach, and from several feet away she would like charge them, like charge up to a point and stay there, and it was really interesting to watch. I probably have that on a video too, but you guys gotta watch all the weekend reviews now to find them. Oh, all right, yeah, go ahead. So Verna's gonna put a picture of mantis she found 15 years ago on the Facebook group. Yeah, that Facebook group is for us to continue conversations we have on here. Find some good information, put it on there about stuff we've talked about, keeping it, to this channel. And then I also post my my videos over on there too. Yeah. TM says it's too cold in Alaska for me. That was actually another consideration. I wasn't sure how I would deal with the long dark, as they call it. I think it'd be fine with the daylight because you can put curtains up and stuff. Like these curtains I made are, they have a, you can get it at Joann's, but it has a moisture barrier, mylar, another something or other, or I think it's a batting, then more mylar, and then some sort of lining, and then you put whatever you want to look at. And you can block out light. I mean, there's still light out. All right. Grows in Alaska says, right now, strawberries, raspberries, onions, collard greens, hydroponic projects, carrots, and a few other things. I am zone 4A. Awesome. Dawn says, oh, I have to go offline. Got to work out. Yes, you do, Dawn. You get walking. Everyone have a great night. Stay safe. If storms are headed your way, they are starting 11 p.m. here. Ooh, you guys are getting storms. Good luck. Stay safe. Good night, Dawn. Yeah, for square foot gardening, it's often you lay out a grid with a rope or with a stick or something. String. Yeah. Yeah. When is the garden playing music? When it rings the bell peppers, Serena says. Bell peppers and I do not get along. Not a thing you guys can eat. JJ tried square foot gardening. Didn't do well with it. But it's a good garden for beginners. I do better with Japanese home gardening, but not as organized. Yeah, an organized garden just doesn't work for me. I always overplant. And what does best does best. Like that's kind of how I think of it, is whatever's meant to do well will do well. And they'll be fine. Yeah. That's my opinion, at least. Yeah. All right. Everybody's saying goodnight to Dawn. JJ says, I've never seen an overweight praying mantis. I know. Aw. Thank you, Rosa in Alaska. New to your channel, went ahead and subbed, enjoying live. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We talk all things homesteading related, and sometimes we go on tangents. And we do have the Facebook group. If you're into Facebook, we have a group there, answer all the questions and agree to the rules. And I post videos there, and then we can continue conversations about stuff we've talked about on the lives. Yeah. Thank you for subbing. Pass it along. All right. Okay, so TM has potted plants in containers. That's a start. That is definitely a start. And as long as you're able to water them and fertilize them, those are the key things with containers, then you're doing good. You're welcome, Berna. All right. Serena says, I was in Alaska over 12 years ago. The airline lost our luggage and we had to buy new clothes. But the next day our luggage showed up. Did they pay for your clothes? Did they pay for your clothes at least? Hopefully. All right, Andy's got to go. I'll catch you later. Bye, Andy. Thanks for stopping by. And Buster's welcoming Grows in Alaska to the family. Awesome. Good luck to Dawn from TM. Absolutely. Verna says, you can even buy a tile that you use for square foot gardening. That's right. It tells you which holes you plant in. Yeah. So it's a square foot, obviously, square foot gardening. And it has like 1 in the center and 4 in the corners. Like it has it pre-measured out so that you can just put it down, pop the seeds in, put it down next to that, pop the seeds in. I don't use that method, but for a lot of people who are starting out, they want to do it that way, I say go for it. The thing about square foot gardening is it assumes your plant needs a certain amount of space. And there's a couple of things I guess I can talk with about that. So number one, that's a very beginning level theory. Your plant may do well over its expected space taking up ability, or your plant may do well under that. It's going to depend on many different things: your climate, your soil, your attention to detail, like watering, pest pressure, sun, moisture, humidity. Everything is going to affect those things. Genetics also. And the other thing about that is it doesn't, if you go strictly by that, it doesn't allow you to plant more things. So like you can plant a sunflower that comes up through some other things and it won't impact negatively the rest of those things planted in that square foot. So it can go up and do well. If your soil is super nutritive, you can grow bigger plants. You can grow more plants. So it is somewhat limiting, but it's also completely fine to do because you are your own expert in your own garden. So that you can learn it and you can say, wow, I really like this. Or you can learn it and say, yeah, this is not for me. And that's okay. Yeah. Thank you, Verna, for reminding me of that. JJ says, potted plants are very similar to square foot gardening. Yeah, I guess it would be, huh? Yeah. All right, Serena says 18 likes, few people left, but looks like everyone hit the button so far. Thank you, Serena. Yeah, you have to keep things simple. That's okay, JJ. Steve says sometimes we go on tangents to sometimes translate to usually. Okay. Usually it's in the realm of homesteading, though. That's what I was saying. Sometimes the tangents are, sometimes they go outside of that. Not too far, though. All right. TM says, I had a 12-foot by 12-foot garden. I called it my back 144 square foot field. My neighbors have 40 feet, like in the back part of their garden, or back part of the yard, they have something separated off. It's about 40 feet. So they call it the back 40. I like that. All right. Your grass field. Yeah. Oh, Serena has one of those square foot garden tiles with the holes and a guide showing how many seeds you can put per square foot. And the tile has holes color coded, that's right, to show which seeds you can plant. That's the one that Verna's talking about. Yep. Yippers. JJ says I didn't water well this year, so my plant was stunted. Spent a ton of time with father-in-law in hospital and funeral. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, JJ. Yeah. True. TM says potted plants freeze pretty easy. They do freeze pretty easy. They also warm up pretty easy. So if you are watering in a hot time, they're going to need more water. So that's something to note. Yeah. Serena says Twisters will be in theaters on the 19th of this month. So I remember, you guys remember Twister? Like, how creative is it to just put an S on the end and make it I don't know if it's a sequel or not, but you guys remember the movie Twister? I went to it on a matinee when I was little and with a friend. And we came out of the theater. It was sunny when we went in. And we came out of the theater, and it was like gray clouds. It had cooled off a bunch. There was wind. We're like, yeah. Anyway, there you go. Yeah, well, hopefully this storm system that's apparently out there, hopefully it's going to be okay with you guys. You guys have been hit with lots of storms, haven't you? It's amazing how many storms just keep on coming. Serena says, what game do tornadoes like to play? Twister. Yep, yep. Yep, yep. um, yeah, Twister. So that's another thing with a food forest type system. I keep trying to pull it back to food forest, guys. It is supposed to be the topic of discussion today. With the food forest type system, it also protects your plants from things like wind. I mean, it's not going to protect them from a tornado, but it will protect them from pretty good wind amounts. The trees protect each other. So I know a lot of times in really windy storms and in storms that support tornadoes, they can have really much more of an effect on single trees than on groups of trees, because groups of trees, maybe some of them fall down, but they kind of protect each other. And single trees are just out in the open and don't have anything to support them. So that's something to think about. With a food forest, planting a little bit more densely can actually protect for that. And I would say also, going back to what Matt was asking about for the diversity, if you are planting something I did not do here that I would like to do, I don't think I had this in the video from Thursday. I don't think I had this, but planting more non-fruit trees. So planting more non-fruit trees meaning planting more support trees. And that's not like physical support. That's nitrogen fixers and trees that actually can be physical supports for like grapes and kiwis and stuff like that. Because if you have more of those type of trees that support the other trees, it just is a more well-rounded system. Yeah. All right, gotta scroll up. JJ says, storms passed this afternoon and evening. It got very dark. Now all is calm. So the calm before the storm is a calm after the storm. TM says, the first movie I can remember seeing in the theater is Grizzly Adams. Still like it. There you go. Serena says, what fairground snacks are popular during tornado season? Funnel cake. Okay, JJ says, I do have 7 layers in my yard, just not on purpose. Yay! Yay! Do you have them like all in the same space though? Like, is it all right here, or is it like one here, one there, one there, one there? Yeah. But good. We like 7 layers. Serena says, what do Alaska wildlife read in the morning? A moose paper. Okay, JJ says I have a non-fruit tree, even though it is supposed to bear fruit. Is it like a fruitless, like pomegranate? Because this house had two fruitless pomegranates. I took them out. One of them keeps trying to come back. But what is the point of a fruitless pomegranate? They don't even, the flowers don't even smell. Like, okay, they have like pretty flowers, but they don't smell. So what's the point? Oh, man. Man. I know what you said, JJ. She goes, I said 7 layers in the yard. Alaska Wildlife also listens to music. Got it, Serena. Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, it's your plum, but nothing happens. Does it flower? Does it flower and not fruit? You may be missing a pollinator, JJ. Because if it flowers and it doesn't fruit, it could be missing a pollinator. If it doesn't flower, it might be too young. Um, yeah. What kind of plum? Verna, you're sneaking up there. JJ, you mean it plum forgot to flower? Oh, man. Okay, it flowers but no fruit. You might be missing a pollinator. Do you know what kind it is? 5 years old. 5 years old from seed or 5 years old from like the nursery? Yeah. Oh, American plum. I don't know much about American plums. That is our native plum. Um, I don't know if it has to be a certain age before it starts fruiting or if it is good. And I don't think it needs a pollinator. You might check that, but I don't think it does. I don't know. TM says, I think pecan trees that you let drop their pecans draw or attract rats or squirrels. If I had a pecan tree, that could be true. I mean, it's also true that they're in the trees because there's fruit up there that they are eating. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, maybe you need another plum tree, like Verna says. Buster, Verna's making Buster crack up there. Okay, so it is a tag, so it's probably more than 5 years. Said it didn't need a pollinator, 5 years transplanted. Okay. Um, check and see what your nutrients are. Is anything else having trouble fruiting in that area? I don't remember what the nutrient is. I just know what to look up, guys. Because NPK, nitrogen is for greens, potassium and I can't think of it. NPK, the P and the K. NPK for fruiting, because there's a different number ratio. Like it might be deficient in a nutrient. Is what I'm trying to say. That is what I'm trying to say. Phosphorus supports root growth and fruiting, while potassium supports disease resistance and plant hardiness. Okay, so phosphorus. There is a rock dust that is sold in. Where are you guys? I gotta get back to you. There you are. There's a rock dust that. Okay, soil is usually potassium low. Is that what I just said? That's what I just said, right? Yeah, there's a rock dust you can get and add that to your garden. So that's what I would recommend. There's rock dust that is specifically potassium, phosphorus. What is phosphorus? I worked in a soils lab a couple seasons, and we would always we would ask a question a day to the main boss, and just to see if we could stump him. And we couldn't. We never did. He always knew the answer, or maybe he just made up something. I don't know. But one question we said is, where do the bananas get the potassium from? Because, you always say bananas are high in potassium. Well, where's it come from, And his answer was mica. Mica is a mineral deposit layer in the soil, and that's what he said is mica. So now you know. Yeah, you use rock dust. Yeah, JJ. So I talked with, and I was going to do an interview with her, and I just haven't gotten around to it. And I probably will soon. Maybe not soon. I probably will next year. I was talking with a lady from Azomite. It is Azomite, and Azomite is A to Z of mineral something and trace elements. Anyway, I was talking with her about that. Azomite is a type of rock dust and that you can use in your garden. I use it in my garden. And she was saying the nutrients they used to think it took a year to break down. And there's been studies that were updated last year, is when I talked to her, that is finding you're actually getting those nutrients into your plants that same year. So if your soil microbiology is good, then that is something that can actually you can help your plants now. Basically, you can help your plants in the same growing season. So that was pretty interesting, because it has always been said that it helps for the next year. So yeah, add some rock dust, see what happens. If you have that specific need, I would get, like, there's general rock dust, and there's like azomite has a bunch of different minerals in it and stuff, but there are specific rock dusts that has phosphorus. So yeah. Berta says, try some of Jobs fruit tree steaks. Is that a product that you stake in the ground? Oh, JJ says, ooh, sorry, you're right. Soil is phosphorus depleted, but I need bone meal. I got them mixed up. Okay, there you go. There you go. TM says, I sent my soil off to get a soil analysis. I don't remember what it was like, though. Yeah, so I used to work in a soils lab, like I said, for 2 seasons when I was in Illinois. I worked for the Natural History Survey during one part of the year and for the soils lab during the other part of the year for 2 years. And we did all sorts of stuff. We did all sorts of analysis there. They did a graph, a flame chromatograph. Did I say that right? I probably didn't say that right. Well, they burn it and they see what colors it is, and you can see what the nutrients are. And there's technology. This is for basically the bigger, not someone like you or I could go in and get a soil sample, but we're doing things like a whole field at a time, samples from different areas. And at that time, that was just when John Deere tractors were just starting to have like the GPS capability and stuff. So now, at least the newer ones, I don't know how new is new, but they have the capability, some of them have the capability of saying, okay, here's the analysis that we had. This is high, or this part doesn't need this element. This part needs this other thing. And they can actually specially deposit it in those areas. So there's a lot less waste. There's a lot less point source pollution related to that. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing that was happening at that time. And because I'm not in that industry anymore, I don't know where it's gone. I'm sure it's gotten a lot better, and all of that. So yeah, there you go. Knew there was a reason I worked at a soils lab, to tell you guys stories. It was a good group of people. JJ says, I put azomite in soil in fall and spring. That works. True. True. Verna says a late frost can kill the flowers too. And windstorm can blow them away. Yeah, we had wind for some of the plums in the front this year. I don't really know how. Like we had opposite winds because the house is in the way of the normal wind direction, but I think the winds came around and went this other way. Yeah. JJ says, yes, agree about the frost. Okay. Grows in Alaska says, good information on azomite. I use it too. Good. It's a good thing. There are a lot of rock dusts out there, and I think they all have value. And I just started with this one because it's I mean, rock dust is a natural product. Should always be a natural product because it is rock that is made into dust. I don't. At the time that I got the azomite, it looked like the best one. Now there's rock dust made from basalt. There's rock dust made from volcanic things, and they're going to have different properties. So I'm not opposed to mixing in different types of rock dust because it has to go through all the critters in the ground before it gets into our food, and then have it come out. So into us, which is good. TM says, I used the county extension office. They sent it to a college. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of colleges that do that. The lab that I was in, again, was in Illinois, and Illinois has like 3 habitats. 4. It has corn, soybean, riparian, and Chicago. Sorry if you're from Illinois. Steve, is that accurate? The Natural History Survey that I worked at, they had a habitat map on the wall, and it actually had soybeans and cornfields separated out on the habitat map. I'm like, isn't that just ag? No, we have enough data to separate it out. Anyway, that's what it looked like on that map. Oh. All right, JJ says John Deere is getting ready to lay off thousands of people. I guess they're going broke. All right. Yeah, I have not kept up on that. Verna says, Katrina, my rabbit room floor got mopped yesterday. A storm flooded the room. You had the window open and the rain came in so much that it flooded the room? Oh my gosh. And you're on the second story too, right? Oh my goodness, Verna. Jeez. I hope those bunnies are okay. JJ says, yep. Hubby was going to cut it down, but he had a change of heart seeing how happy quail are in its shade. Oh, yep. Shade is important. Shade is important. I say get your plum a friend. Get your plum a friend. And know when it flowers, because there are some plums that don't flower at the same time. And that won't be helpful to you at plum. Oh boy. Wow. Well, guys, we hit 8 o'clock. We're not going to talk forever, but I do appreciate the talk. Does anybody have any questions or discussion topics we have to talk about before we sign off? I think we had some good topics today. We had some good topics. Usually we do a bunch of talking in the beginning of whatever, and then after that we go to the topic of discussion, and then after that we usually go off to whatever people are interested in, kind of like today. American plum flowers so early, even before apples. So there are, I wish I could remember this. There is another way you can do this. Okay, number 1 option, find a plum tree that flowers during that time and plant it. Number 2 option, oftentimes, I don't know if you guys have this where you are, oftentimes around here at least, there's street trees that are plums. Those street trees that are plums are early flowering trees. And if you, I mean, I'm not going to say like go vandalize all the city's trees. Ask permission for these trees first, not from the trees, from the people. Um, and cut a branch that is in flower and set that upright next to your tree, like in a bucket. And those flowers that are cut can still pollinate your fruit tree. So that's something I learned this last year with the California Rare Fruit Growers, that that does work, and you don't necessarily have to get that other tree if it's, especially if it's just like for one tree. You can literally just go and cut a branch from another tree, bring it over, and put it in the ground or put it in a bucket or whatever, and the bees will pollinate between those two. Now, you're not going to get any fruit off the stick, but put it in a bucket of water and it should last long enough that the bees have enough time to pollinate your tree. So try that next year. Yeah. Yeah. All right. JJ says, thank you, Sow and Tare and community. I love learning all this stuff and hanging out. Absolutely, JJ. And thank you for retelling your tale of the truffles. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I was like, I think somebody did truffles. Somebody talked about truffles here. And I was like, I think it was AJ, or not AJ. I thought it was Amy or JJ. And Amy came on. We asked her. She goes, no, it's not me. I'm like, it's got to be JJ. So there we go. JJ's laughing. Trina, please let me have a branch. I mean, it's okay to ask permission, right? Oh. Verna's asking if JJ if she's in her state. Okay. Yeah. TM says, I had a small plum orchard, but it had wild growth around it. The electric co-op cut them down, and that was that. Oh, your pollinators went away? That sucks. That sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a wonderful week. Tomorrow's video is going to be a restful, peaceful, watch the Breedy Mama video because uh, it was there, it happened, it was easy to film, and right now, you guys know, I have a secret. It's going to be shared soon, soon. And so easy to edit things, mostly. There's one that I need to do soon that is not so easy to edit, uh, is what my goal is. And hopefully, did they hatch? They're not hatched yet. She just started, Verna. She started on Thursday? I think Thursday or Friday she started laying on her 7 eggs. I haven't checked to see under her if she's added to her clutch or not. But yeah, you get to see a little bit of behavior from a broody mama and listen to her scold everybody else who approaches her. So that's what tomorrow's video is. And the next day's video, Thursday's video, I'm going to be doing, most people on here know about it, but I'm going to be doing a video for quail and homesteading convention coming up here the end of next month. Yeah, it's getting close. So I'm going to be doing that for the Thursday video, and we will see you guys on Monday. Okay, here's a caveat. Monday, I believe I will see you. If I'm not on, it's because electricity stuff is happening. So I will likely see you on Monday. Let's just say that. I will set it up as if it's happening, and it probably will. And I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for participating in the conversation. And have a wonderful week. Good night, everyone.